to my feet. I'm lying 'cause I can't touch you. Why can't you just hear me?
morning, good morning, good morning. Good 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 morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Play it again or no?
Good morning.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
morning.
gonna guess no. Good morning and that, but it's Uncle Lou here. That's right, it's me, Uncle Lou. Live for you on LouTube today. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. For real. I'm serious. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Who's here today, though? Bunch of y'all here this morning. What is it? Is it some kind of a holiday? What are y'all doing in here? Hope y'all had a great Monday. Uncle Lou did. Tennessee Sam, Will Thoroughgood, good morning, sir. Celine Driver, Ballard, Dago, Rob Dog, Tiny Tanto. Mountaineer Mike, Tim Jones, Marcus Cameron. Of course, Marcus Aurelius still on a milk carton. Haven't seen him in a while. Florida lost. I don't know what happened. It is what it is, I guess. Big Dog, what's up, buddy? Jay Beavers, Brian, Lil Leon 26. Appreciate y'all tuning in this morning. This is the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. BVD will be joining us here in just a few minutes. Per usual, we do this show 4 mornings a week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 8 a.m. Call-in show tonight at 10. We do that every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 p.m. Take phone calls from all you guys. Talk college football. Wednesday, no live shows. Got lunch money today, too, with me and Pigskin Pete. Tuesday and Thursday at noon. And then Saturday, I'll stream during college game day and post-reaction videos. You guys know the schedule. You guys know the schedule, don't you? Yeah, I think you do. Pretty sure you do. Any news today? Lane Kiffin lost $25,000 yesterday. It was just a matter of time before this happened. There's only one person I can think of on planet Earth who Lane Kiffin tweets a lot of things he shouldn't be tweeting. He's always been that way. And he got fined $25,000 yesterday for retweeting someone else's criticism of the SEC officiating. Of course, his Ole Miss Rebels got screwed out of a potential win this past Saturday when not only did they get the call wrong on the field in the Ole Miss Auburn game, they didn't even bother to review it. And we've all seen the replay a million times. The Barner clearly touched the ball. Should have been a fumble recovered by Ole Miss, which, of course, would have been game over. He retweeted someone's criticism of that call, and the SEC went ahead and docked him $25,000 for his trouble. Now, of course, the SEC came out the next day and admitted they were wrong and that the play should have been reviewed. But, I mean, by that point, it's too late. This is just like in the Arkansas game. I mean, that's great that you come out and admit you're wrong, but it doesn't fix anything. Doesn't fix anything. These referees need to be held accountable. You screw up a call like that, there needs to be consequences and repercussions, whatever that is. Fired, suspended, can't referee for 2 weeks, whatever, something. There needs to be some kind of repercussion. But, it is what it is. It's like I told y'all in the video the other day. We need full-time officials in college football. It's just the NFL. Can you believe the NFL doesn't have full-time officials? This is just insane. I don't understand. I mean, I get it that I guess technically they would, they only work 1 day a week for 4 or 5 months a year. But I mean, there's plenty of things they could do when they're not actually refereeing a game, like learn how to referee a game, study. Whatever. I don't understand why the NFL and big-time college football doesn't have full-time officials. It's an embarrassment. These people are teaching middle school social studies during the week. These people they're an accountant Monday through Friday, and then they show up on Saturday and referee the Georgia-Alabama game. I mean, it makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's not just the SEC officiating, Marcus. I mean, a lot of us tend to focus on the SEC because that's where we live and that's where our teams play for the most part. But this is a problem all over. College, NFL, in the South, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, everywhere. This is a problem everywhere, this officiating mess. You ever work somewhere that had full-time employees and part-time employees? Who cares more? I'm sure you guys have worked somewhere that had full-time employees and part-time employees. Who cares more? The full-time employees. I don't understand this. I seriously don't. You got guys handing out buggies at Walmart Monday through Friday, and then showing up to referee the Ole Miss versus Auburn game on Saturday. This shit don't make no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, they get paid, but it's not enough. The amount they get paid is not enough to support them for an entire year. So they have they have full-time jobs. Pay these people a livable wage, whatever that is. Pay them $75,000 a year. But they need to be studying, educating themselves, watching film of past games and mistakes that were made by officials and all of that Monday through Friday. That's what they need in training and running and staying in shape. That's what they need to be doing Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday or Sunday, depending on whatever college or NFL, they need to be refereeing a game. That's what they need to be doing. This don't make no sense. I mean, this idea that you can, that all week, Monday through Friday, you work for some pest control company, But then on Saturday, you're refereeing the biggest college football game of the week. It's just insane. And this is a problem that's been going on as long as football has been around. And this won't solve all the problems, but it'll solve some of them. It'll solve some of them. Anyway. I'm going to assume BVD fell in a well. I don't know. I'm assuming he's asleep. I don't know. Did he text me? Maybe he texted me and something came up. Yeah, he's not coming on today. Apparently, he got a phone call at 7 o'clock this morning that the home health nurse is coming at 8:30 today. So you're stuck with just me today. So be nice to me, okay? Be nice to me. Tiny Tonto, thank you for the super chat. He says, good morning, Lou. If they start selling mini blue Florida helmets, you'll have one coming from me. Well, thank you, sir. Now, you know what I want. I've talked about it a bunch of times. I want that white one with the blue F on it. But I don't know if they make that one either. Oh, but speaking of mini helmets, though. Speaking of mini helmets. Who knows what this is? It's South Dakota State. So a couple of you got it right. Now, the South Dakota State what? The South Dakota State what? What's their nickname or mascot or whatever? Yeah, and you still don't know the difference between no and no, Dennis. N-O and K-N-O-H don't mean the same thing, sir. Learn to spell. Joseph got it. Jackrabbit. CB. East Tennessee. Sam. Jeremy. Garrettson. Yeah. I'm surprised. A bunch of y'all got it. I'm surprised. I wouldn't have known. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't have known. So, yeah. So, shout out to the scholarly gentleman who went ahead and sent that to Uncle Lou. Thank you, sir. That's definitely one I didn't have. So thank you. Who in here has young kids? Anybody? Anybody in here got young kids? Remember the rubber duckies when you were a kid? Did you guys have a rubber ducky you used to play with in the tub when you were a kid? Bears, Cubs, Canes, I know you do, sir. You got two? Okay. Brian's got a 2-year-old, 3.5, and 1. I got something for y'all then. In fact, well, I guess it depends. I don't know. But y'all had the rubber duckies when you were a kid, though? Everybody did, didn't they? Now you got kids, you're out buying them their damn rubber duckies and shit. Let me see what I got here. I got all kinds of shit here. Cock and Balls says he has 2 kids. Good to know your screen name works. Who's got kids? I'm 20 with 2 kids, 3 and 2. Oh my God, sir, you should have waited. Holy moly. If I would have become a parent when I was 20, my kids would have no chance at life. I hope you're way more mature and responsible than I was at 20 years old. Oh my God. Look at this. They're rubber duckies, but they're college mascots. Now, the guy that owns this company, he emailed me. And he sent me some of these. He's not paying me, so this isn't a paid advertisement or anything, but he did send me some of these. So I put his website in the description. It's rubbertubbers.com. Rubbertubbers.com. The website, the link is in the description. You guys check it out, but they're officially licensed. They're $19.99. And when I went to the website this morning, it said, I think it said buy 2, get 1 free. They make great gifts, too, for Christmas. If you've got nieces, nephews, whatever, you know, with kids, these make, you could probably unbox this thing and put it right down in a stocking. Anyway, these would make great gifts. But check them out, rubbertubbers.com, and I'll give some away. I got a bunch of them. Let's see. Let me scroll back up and see who's got young kids. Dago is 35 with 2 young ones. You're an LSU fan, right? I do not have an LSU one. Is Big Dog Big Dog Brett, or is Big Dog someone different than Big Dog Brett? Because I know Brett's got like a basketball team of kids at home. Louis McElroy, you have 2 under 3. Now, who are you a fan of, Louis? I can't remember. Sorry. Let me know. 1 under 2. If you have young kids, let me know who you're a fan of in the comments section. Who's got young kids? I'll send some of these out. Jason, you got a baby girl? Jason Sturkey, email me, crazyunclelou@gmail.com. Put rubber ducky in the subject of the email so I can find it. Put rubber ducky in the subject of the email or whatever, Alabama ducky, something so I can find it. And I'll send this to you for your little girl. That's 1 gone. Bears, Cubs, Canes. I do not have Miami. Where else are we at here? Trey Williams has 4 kids under 12. You're working on a basketball team, too. The News You Lose says 45 with a grandson who's 4. The news you lose. I have another one. Email me, news you lose. Email me. Put Rubber Ducky in the subject line of the email. The email address is crazyuncle.lou@gmail.com, crazyuncle.lou@gmail.com. The email's in the description of this video. Email me. I'll send you this Gump toy too. Big Al. Big Al is his name. All right. Who else? 32 with a 1.5-year-old Georgia fan. Matthew Smith. I only have 2 Georgia ones. I'm keeping one just to keep it. But Matthew Smith, email me. I will send you the hairy dog, Rubber Ducky. Matthew Smith, email me. Put Rubber Ducky in the subject line. Brian says Alabama and a 2-year-old. I only had 2 Alabamas. They're gone. Gator Zone, you have a 7-month-old? Gators owned. Email me. I'll send you this Albert Rubber Ducky for your 7-month-old. Or hell, for you. Maybe some of y'all take baths. I don't know. But email me, put Rubber Ducky in the subject line. I'll get this mailed out to you. Chase, you have 2. What you got to let me know what fan you're a team of. Texas. I don't think I have Texas. No, sorry. I don't have Texas. Is there a Purdue? I don't have a Purdue, but now they're all on the website. Check them out, rubbertubbers.com. There's a link in the description. I wish I could give everybody one, but I can only give away what I have. But you guys check them out, rubbertubbers.com. The link is in the description. Do I have UNC? No. Here's who I have. I've got Kentucky, Central Florida, Florida State, Florida, Tennessee, Clemson, and Auburn. That's what's left. Stephen Tillery says, daughter is FSU fan. Stephen Tillery, email me, crazyuncle.lou@gmail.com. Send me an email, crazyuncle@gmail.com. Put Rubber Ducky in the subject line. It's important that you put Rubber Ducky in a subject line. That goes for all of you because I've had this email address since I started this channel, and it's always been in the description of my videos, so I get a ton of junk and spam mail. I mean, I can't tell you how much. So the only way for me to find these emails is going to be to do a search in the subject line for Rubber Ducky. So make sure you put that in the subject line, okay? Just a kid from Tennessee says, Tennessee, Uncle Lou. Just a kid from Tennessee. Email me, crazyuncle.lou@gmail.com, crazyuncle@gmail.com. I'll send you Smokey. All right, that's it. I'm gonna save the rest of them. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 6. I've got about 8 or 9 more. I'll save those for another morning show or a different live show. Maybe we'll give some away on the night show tonight. Probably won't give any away on the Lunch Money show. That show's only an hour long. We don't really have a lot of time for that kind of stuff. But there you go. And again, take care of these guys. They were nice. They sent all this stuff out, letting me give all this stuff away. Check them out. The link is in the description. They've got a lot of other stuff on the site too, but rubbertubbers.com. Check it out. Link in the description of this video. Right now, it's buy two, get one free. Like I said, these would make great Christmas gifts, birthday presents, or just gifts for no reason. It's football season. You got a niece, a nephew, a son, daughter, grandson, whatever, a coworker with a young kid, whatever. They're $19.99. Buy two, get one free. Check them out. Link in the description. Y'all help me take care of the people who support this show. So check them out. Link in the description. All right, let's get back to some football talk. People get mad if all I do is give stuff away all the time. Of course, people get mad no matter what anyway. Have y'all heard this about Wisconsin? Now, it came out, I guess, yesterday, maybe even the day before, about their quarterback, Graham Mertz, and the Rona situation. Well, now I'm hearing that their backup has it too. This is terrible. If the positive tests are confirmed, they're going to miss 3 games. I mean, that could be the season. You know, that could be the season. 3 games. What they do is they take the Big Ten tests every day, antigen testing. If you get a positive antigen test, then they follow that up with the more accurate test, the PCR test. And if the PCR test is also positive, you're out 21 days. If the PCR test comes back negative, then you're back on the team. So the word is that the Graham Mertz and the backup got a positive antigen test. So awaiting results now on the PCR test. This is what happened with Nick Saban, if you remember. He took a test. It was positive, and then he took different tests, and 3 in a row came back negative, so he was able to come back. So let's hope that this is another case of that, false positives on these tests that aren't any good. Because I can't imagine. This would, Wisconsin finally gets a quarterback that, as a Wisconsin fan, you have to have been wanting a quarterback like this forever. I mean, I'm a Georgia fan. I'm in the same boat. Can you imagine if Georgia was a couple of weeks into the season or whatever, hell, even one game like Wisconsin, or now like Georgia is halfway through the season, and we actually finally had a legitimate quarterback, one of these game-changing quarterbacks who can win games for you, and then he gets yanked out from underneath you after waiting that long? So I feel terrible for Wisconsin fans, players, the team, the university, if this ends up being true. I know it was just one game, but man, that Graham Mertz just looked really, really good. And so let's hope that they do these tests and they come back, negative for whatever reason. Let's hope that's the case. Let me read some of these PayPals or super chats. Here's the PayPal link for those of you that don't mind. Definition 409, thank you. Who's your favorite co-host, Pete or BVD? Well, BVD is my favorite morning show co-host. Pete is my favorite afternoon show co-host. So I hope that answers your question, sir. I'm pretty sure that it did. But thank you. I don't have favorites. I really don't, in all honesty. Gator Zone says, if you love me, send me a Florida one. If you hate me, send me Kentucky. I think you were one of the ones I said to send me the email. I'll get you a Florida one out. Celine Driver says, call me if you want a substitute co-host. I think what I'm going to do, we'll probably just go for an hour today. Tuesdays and Thursdays have been rough for your boy Lou here since football season started. I'm not going to lie. I have this show till 10. Then I have the Lunch Money show at 12. And then I have the live show at 10. And I know a lot of you think that, the morning show is from 8 to 10, so it only takes 2 hours. Well, that's not the case. You know, it takes at least 30 minutes to get this show set up every morning, then at least 2 hours of doing the show. And then like today, as an example, when this show ends, I've got to go through all these emails. Then I've got to write down everybody's address and which team they wanted. And there's always something like that to do. I was telling Mrs. Lou the other day, I wish all I had to do was record videos, edit videos, and upload videos and do live shows. That would be amazing. But I'm finding out real quick over the last couple of years that you have to spend a lot of time doing other things, and I don't enjoy those other things. I don't enjoy the business part of it. I don't. Replying to emails. Not that I don't want y'all email me. That's not what I'm saying. It's part of the job. I mean, everybody, I'm sure whatever you do, whatever your job is, there's probably things about your job you love and things that you're like, but Tuesdays and Thursdays have been killing me here. So, I mean, basically by the time the morning show ends, I don't really have time to work on anything else. And then it's time to start getting ready for the lunch show. Lunch show ends at 1, and then that only leaves me a few hours to do whatever I have to do the rest of the day. And then the kids start getting home from school, and Mrs. Lou gets home, and dance practices and soccer games in the evenings, and then the night show at 10. It's been wearing me out. So I think we'll just go for an hour today since BVD's not here. That'll give me an extra hour. Today. So I don't want to bring you on for just 20 minutes. You deserve more than that. Way more than that. So much more than that. Mike Reiser, thank you for the PayPal. He says, what do you call a party with 100 midgets? What do you call a party with 100 midgets? A little get-together. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Thank you for hitting the PayPal, Mr. Reiser. You're good people. I appreciate that. What are y'all doing for Halloween? Most of you too old to dress up, ain't you? This is the first year neither one of my kids will be going trick-or-treating here. My son, he doesn't want to go at all this year. He said he wants to stay home and hand out candy. I'm not going to argue with him. My daughter said she wasn't going to go, but then it turned out a bunch of her friends are getting together, all together somewhere, and they're going to go trick-or-treating together in some other neighborhood up the street somewhere. So she is going, but not here. And my son doesn't want to go at all. So this will be the first year. No trick-or-treating for my kids here in the neighborhood. I mean, my daughter's going, but not here. But I guess it's all right. It falls on a Saturday this year. The last time Halloween fell on a Saturday. Who remembers the last time Halloween fell on a Saturday? What year was it? What happened that day? I sure remember. So anyway, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I guess I'll be able to watch. The football games instead, I guess. That's right, Glitter Gator. That was the day I made my Fire Mark Rick video. And if you've ever seen that Fire Mark Rick video and wonder, where is that? It's clearly not in my garage, which is where I was working at the time. It was Halloween. The Georgia-Florida game came on at 3:30 like it does every year. It ended about 6:30 or 6:45, which is right when it starts to get dark here. So after that game ended, I had to go inside and help my son and daughter get their costumes ready and all that for Halloween to take them trick-or-treating. So as soon as the game ended, I had to go inside. I didn't have time to stay in the garage and make a video. So I went inside in my bedroom. My kids were in our bathroom and our bedroom doing their Halloween stuff. They're standing right there in the bathroom. I walked out of the bathroom into my bedroom, stood up against a wall in the bedroom and recorded that Fire Mark Rick video with my wife and son and daughter literally standing right there. And that ended up being a pretty popular video. But yeah, that was the last time Halloween fell on a Saturday. So hopefully I don't have to make any. And it's kind of strange. Kirby countdown 4 days, by the way. It's kind of strange how that's lining up. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's not. Yeah, but don't let me down, Kirby. You know what you need to do. Just do it and be done with it. That's all there is to it. Bama Mike says, I have an early Christmas present coming to you. Hopefully you will like to hang it up in the studio, a.k.a. the doghouse. Yeah, I've started to bring some more stuff out here. Like I got the Herschel thing finally out, but I haven't. I still have a lot of stuff to hang up. I had enough stuff to fill out that little bitty cubby hole area I had in the garage. And this room is so much bigger. It's taken me a while to fill the walls up in here, and people love letting me know about it in the comments too. Please put something on that wall. The Fire Mark video was sad. Not as sad as the fact that y'all literally hired him a week later. My God, what idiots y'all were. Jesus Christ. Think Kirby will ever beat Saban? Yes. Lane Kiffin got fined $25,000 for retweeting a tweet that criticized the officiating in his game. See what else, other news we have. Nothing really. Florida finally practiced again. I guess that's good news. They practiced yesterday for the first time in 2 weeks. Of course, they were ate up with the coronavirus. They're back at it. They host Mizzou this week. Or do they host Mizzou or play at Mizzou? I can't remember, but they play Missouri. And that's been a weird series, Florida and Missouri. For whatever reason, Missouri seems to have Florida's number. Florida's been better than Missouri almost every single time they've played, but they're 4-4, Florida and Missouri, in the last 8. It's been kind of an odd series. Missouri has found ways to beat Florida. It's been kind of strange that way. Just a kid from Tennessee, thank you for the super chat. He says, what does Tennessee need to do to become relevant again and compete in the SEC? The first thing they have to do is get it right on a coaching hire. And unfortunately, I don't care who. Listen, as good as Alabama is right now, if Saban retires tomorrow and Alabama then makes 3 bad coaching hires in a 6 or 7 year period, Alabama will be winning 5 and 6 games a year too. You can't miss that many times in a row on head coach. That's the biggest problem with Tennessee. They've missed too many. They've missed too many times when it comes to hiring at head coach. And now, as far as what Pruitt can do, you need to you got to recruit. You need better players. You need better players. I don't think the coaching has been that great. I haven't been impressed with Pruitt. He's still losing. Pruitt in year 3 is still losing to teams every year that he should be beating. Teams that he's more talented than. Tennessee was more talented than Georgia State last year. Tennessee was more talented than BYU last year. Tennessee's more talented than Kentucky this year. They've got to stop. Forget Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. That's not even on the radar. It shouldn't be anyway, if you're a Tennessee fan. You just forget that. Quit losing to the other teams. I mean, that's what they have to do. Tennessee can't even have a year where all they do is lose to the 3 good teams. That's where they need to get to that point first. And then they can look to maybe trying to catch Florida or Georgia or Bama or whatever. But right now, they can't even make it through a season without losing to Kentucky or Georgia State or BYU or Vandy. They've beat South Carolina the last 2 years, but prior to that, they lost to them like 4 years in a row. They've got to stop doing that. You want to know why Texas A&M has a better reputation than Tennessee right now? Look at Texas A&M. They go 7-5 every year. But they only lose to the 5 best teams they play. That's it. Like last year, they lost to Clemson, Auburn, LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. A lot of teams would have lost to those 5 teams last year. They don't lose to Georgia State. They don't lose to Kentucky or Vandy. So they've got similar records, but people take them more serious than they do Tennessee. Tennessee's got to stop losing these games that they're not supposed to lose. And here's the thing with the Kentucky game. Even if you want to make the argument and say, well, because of the coaching changes and the poor recruiting, we really weren't all that much more talented than Kentucky. Okay, but they beat you 34-7. Are they 30 points more talented than Tennessee? No. Stop. You got to stop that. The talent gap between Tennessee and Kentucky is not small, in my opinion. I think Tennessee's much more talented. Much more talented. So Jeremy Pruitt, so far, has not proven to be a good college football head coach, in my opinion. He hasn't proven that yet. He hasn't done anything amazing when it comes to recruiting. Now, he hasn't been terrible, but finishing 6th, 7th, 8th in recruiting in the SEC, what's that going to get you in a normal year? That's going to get you 7-5, 8-4 in a normal year when you're constantly recruiting 6th, 7th, 8th in the SEC. That's what that's going to get you. And then as far as on-the-field results or developing players, this is his 3rd year there. He's had 3 years to work with these players. Outside of Toto on defense, who's the what? In other words, when a team gets ready to play Tennessee, right? What does their offense look at Tennessee's defense and go, we need to watch out for that guy? Other than Henry Toto, whatever the hell, there's nobody over there that scares anybody. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, I think your 2 running backs are okay, and I think you've got some good young wide receivers, and I even like Josh Palmer. Garantano is what he is, though. He's there's no light switch that's about to come on for Garantano. He is what he is. He is what he is. And the offensive line has been a huge disappointment. Huge disappointment. At worst, Tennessee has the 3rd most talented line in the SEC, and the argument can be made they have the most talented starting offensive line in the SEC, and they ain't playing that way. They're playing like they have about the 10th best line in the SEC. I mean, against Kentucky, they might as well not even have had an offensive line out there. So Tennessee's got a lot of problems. And especially, see, if you're a fan of Tennessee and you're my age, 40s, you remember Tennessee being great in the 90s and even a little bit in the early 2000s. You remember that. And so your expectations are that that's what I should be seeing now. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. No, there's nothing wrong with that. But what you have to remember is all of these kids that are playing college football right now, they've never seen Tennessee be good, ever. There's not a single player on Georgia, Vandy, South Carolina, Mizzou, Bama. There's not a single player on any of these teams that has ever seen Tennessee be good, ever. So no one is scared of Tennessee. Recruits that are coming up now, there's no luster about Tennessee. Come to Tennessee. Look what, there's no draw to Tennessee. There's not. There's just not. The in-state talent, high school-wise in Tennessee, it's not terrible, but it's not Georgia. It's not Florida. It's not Texas. It's not Ohio. It's not California. They're not on that level, so they have to go out of state to try to get a lot of guys. And those guys, they've never seen Tennessee be good. So, these players are getting offers from Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. Breaking news, the majority of the time, they're going to not choose Tennessee given the option. Now, not always. You do get some. But like I said, look at the recruiting, 6th, 7th, 8th. What you kind of know what you're going to get with those type of recruiting classes. Tennessee's not a like you look at look at Oklahoma, right? Oklahoma's been winning 11, 12 games a year for what seems like forever. They win the Big 12. They make the college football playoff in their sleep. Now, yeah, they get beat in the first round, but still they make the playoffs. This year, they're not. So if you're Oklahoma, you have a talented team. You can look around and go, okay, what's the one or two things we need to change to get us back to playoff material? That's a situation that can be worked on in a season or two. Tennessee's been bad for. I mean, if you're a high school recruit, Tennessee's been bad your entire life. It's going to take. There's no overnight fixes. And I'm not. The jury is still out on Pruitt. I'm not saying he's going to be a failure as a head coach. But I am telling you that as of right now, he's done nothing to make anybody think he's going to be great either. I mean, what can you hang your hat on as a Tennessee fan as proof that Pruitt is headed in the... You're not... this is the other thing. We're getting closer. We're heading in the right direction. No, you're not. You lose to Georgia, Florida, and Alabama every single year by 30 or more. You're not getting closer. I mean, look at the scores of the Tennessee versus Alabama game over the last 3 years. Look at the scores of the Tennessee-Florida game and look at the scores over the Tennessee-Georgia game. You're not getting closer. So I don't really know. I'm leaning towards Jeremy Pruitt might not be the guy. Because I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what evidence there is. Even if you're a Tennessee fan who absolutely loves Jeremy Pruitt, I don't know what evidence it is you point to say, well, he did this, this, and this, so I think he's, I think he's heading in the right direction. I don't know what you would point. What would you point to? Miami fans suffer from this same disease. You've got a lot of, 30, 40, 50-year-old Miami fans who, when they close their eyes and think about Miami, they think early 2000s, 90s, late 80s. Again, there's not a single high school recruit alive who has ever seen Miami be good. There's not. The luster of the U, getting off the bus in camouflage. Miami used to show. Alabama wins a lot of games before the game ever starts. Intimidation. The way they warm up, the way they look when they get off the bus. I mean, they win a lot of games before they ever even start. Miami was that way, but no one knows. These kids don't know that. They don't remember that. They weren't alive. I hear Miami fans all the time, if we could just keep the South Florida kids here, we'd be a top 5 team. But you can't, because they didn't grow up seeing Miami winning 12 and 13 games a year and winning conference titles and making BCS games. They didn't grow up seeing that. They grew up seeing Miami fire their coach every 3 years and struggle to make bowl games. That's what they grew up seeing. And it's the same for Tennessee. Now, we oftentimes lump Texas into that same boat, deservedly so, but Texas has more recent success than either of those other two. I mean, Texas did make a New Year's Six bowl and win it just 2 seasons ago. They won the Big 12 in what, 2010? Did they win the Big 12? And when did Texas last win the Big 12? 2010? Something like that. So way more recently than either of those other two teams. But still, the the Miamis, the Tennessees, yes, they were great. Miami and Tennessee were two of the best programs in America in the 90s, without question. Without question. But it ain't the 90s. The 90s are not winning you any games in 2020, and that's pretty obvious. That's pretty obvious. Now, Miami's clearly better than Tennessee this year. Clearly. We'll see how Miami finishes out the season. They could win the rest of their games. I don't know. We'll see. Miami could make a New Year's Six Bowl this year, but they made a New Year's Six Bowl 3 seasons ago in 2017 and got obliterated in their own stadium. Well, it's not their stadium. It's the Dolphins stadium. But Miami made the Orange Bowl, was it 17 or 18? I think it was 17. Miami made the Orange Bowl, lost. I don't remember the last time Miami won a major bowl game. The last time Tennessee won a major bowl game, 1998, the national title. They have not won a major bowl game since then. Tennessee hasn't even made it to the Sugar Bowl, which is the best bowl you can go to as an SEC team if you're not in the national title game. Tennessee hasn't even made it to a Sugar Bowl since 1997. Georgia plays in the Sugar Bowl in its down years now. So these teams just have a long way to go. It's not a thing of Oklahoma where you're good for a bunch of years and have one bad year. Florida State's another good example. Won a national title in 2013, undefeated. 2014, ran through the regular schedule and the ACC title game undefeated before losing in the first round of the playoffs. 2015 till now, nothing. Why? Well, first of all, they were bad initially because Jimbo left them in a bind. That's true. But why are they still bad in 2020? Because they made a bad coaching hire. That's why. They swung and missed, much like Tennessee and Miami. They swung and missed that head coach. They hired Willie Taggart. They shouldn't have. And it cost them now. So now Florida State's not in an Oklahoma situation where they're one recruiting class away or a couple of key players at a position here or there away. No, Florida State is 2-3 good recruiting classes away because they made a bad coaching hire. He didn't recruit well, and he couldn't coach well. So, and the more bad coaching hires you make in a row in a short period of time, it compounds this problem. And that's what Tennessee is dealing with. I mean, Tennessee is still paying this guy. Tennessee is still paying Butch Jones. And we're talking about who might be next after Pruitt. Listen, Georgia was this way after Vince Dooley. We made a bad hire, and it hurt us. Georgia was pretty much invisible in the 90s. They started to get good again. They were terrible in the early and mid 90s. They started to get good in the late 90s. And then in the early 2000s, when we brought Richt in, is when we went from good to really good. And that's why you have to laugh when you see these mouth-breathing nitwits who keep posting Mark Richt's record through 60 games and Kirby Smart's record through 60 games. As if they're bad. Those are two of the best records through a coach's first 60 games in college football history. I don't know why people think posting Kirby's and Richt's record through their first 60 games. I don't know what about that they think is an insult. Does anybody want me to pull up Nick Saban's record, his first 60 games? I'll give you a hint. He won about half as many games as Richt and Kirby did in his first season. So I don't understand this. I don't understand. We can look at Dabo, too, if you want. Richt and Smart, y'all keep posting their record through their first 60 games. Great. Both of them had great first 5 years. Amazing first 5 years. You know, Tennessee fan keeps posting Mark Richt's record through 60 games and Kirby Smart's record through 60 games. And I can't even remember the last time a Tennessee coach was around for 60 games. Yeah, Joe, that's why Butch Jones is still at Alabama getting paid to do nothing, because he can't get a coaching job. If he does, Tennessee doesn't have to pay him. So Butch Jones can hide in a broom closet and pretend to be studying film for Saban all day and collect his checks from Tennessee. If he goes out and gets a coaching job, then Tennessee doesn't have to pay him. That's how these buyouts work. So you see coaches do this a lot of times when they get fired. But they only have 2 more payments to make to Butch, Tennessee. So they'll be done paying Butch Jones in December. So Butch Jones will have a job somewhere next year. I don't know if it'll be as a head coach. And if it is a head coach, it won't be in the Power 5. He'd have to go down to the Group of 5. But he'll be an assistant or a coordinator or a position coach or something somewhere next year. He won't be hiding in a broom closet at Alabama next year. Gators 89, thank you for the super chat. He says, when will you call into a Tennessee show again? The way that came up is actually a Tennessee fan messaged me or something and said, you won't believe these guys on this Tennessee show in Knoxville. They talking about Tennessee beating Georgia, Florida, and Bama and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And he sent me a link to listen live. And I started listening, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So I went out, turned all this stuff on, hooked my cell phone up, recorded the call, called them. That's how that happened. And then I called them a couple more times after that, but then they blocked me. They won't let me call anymore. But I have to have. There has to be a reason for me to call one of these shows. I remember at the time I did ask if there's any other fans out there who have some kind of local show that talks about your team. Send me the link because I'd love to call them, but didn't hear from anybody. Tiny Tonto, thank you, sir. He says, I don't know if you've seen the new one, but which old school Florida helmet do you like more, Lou, the white or the blue? I like the white Florida helmet with the blue F on it. We showed a picture of it on here the other morning. Let me see if I can find it again. Yeah, this one. This one right here. The white with the blue F. I think that's Florida's best looking helmet. Definition 409, thank you for the super chat. He says, UT didn't mess up the coaching hire, Lou. The fans messed it up. They should have gotten Leach or Greg Schiano. Well, yeah, you can blame the fans on this last one. That's for sure. But the fans didn't hire Derek Dooley, Lane Kiffin, or Butch Jones. And those were all 3 bad, disastrous hires. Georgia's gotten lucky with both of its last 2 coaching hires, because neither one of them had ever been a head coach before. And there are no guarantees. I mean, you could hire, somebody could hire Nick Saban away from Alabama. There's no guarantee that Nick Saban would show up there and win like he does at Bama. There's always a risk involved when you change coaches, and you never really know how it's going to work out. So Georgia got lucky. They went out and hired their last 2 coaches. Both were coaches with no head coaching experience at all. But in both cases, it worked out. And I know they haven't won a national title, but let's be, I get the trolling about 1980, but let's be real. There's 130 teams. There's about 125 who would trade places with Georgia right now. Thank you for hitting the PayPal link, Raylan. He says, do you think Luke Fickell could be the next Texas coach? Because I think Herman is on his way out. Somebody better get him. I don't, who it is almost doesn't matter to me. It'd be great if Texas, wherever Luke Fickell goes, I think he will win. Now, where he goes does determine to a certain degree how much he could win. In other words, South Carolina could hire Luke Fickell. I don't think that means South Carolina's winning a national title, but South Carolina would become way better than they are now. Same with Tennessee. Now, at Texas, sky's the limit because of the resources, and the Big 12's not that good, and on and on and on. Somebody better go get him, is all I'm saying. I think I don't understand. I know he turned down a job, at least one job last year. I think he turned down the Michigan State job. But it's not because he has some dying devotion to Cincinnati. It's because he didn't want the Michigan State job. And I think he can get a much better job. I think he should. I don't think there's a school that's too big to where they shouldn't consider Luke Fickell. Texas, let's say, if Nick Saban retired, I think everybody should at least consider Luke Fickell. What he's done at Cincinnati is unbelievable. But I have no idea where he'll end up. It's going to depend. If there are multiple job openings, he'll have multiple choices on where he could go. I think he's got to be second on most people's. He's first on a lot of people's list, second at the worst. Maybe there's some schools who would consider Urban Meyer ahead of Luke Fickell. But there are some schools that don't want the problems that Urban Meyer brings. But somebody better go get Luke Fickell yesterday. If Kirby doesn't do what he's supposed to do this Saturday, I'm going to send him an invitation. Bears Cubs Gaines, thank you for hitting the PayPal link, sir. He says, what's good, Lou? This one's from my youngest daughter, Mallory. She says, hi, and wants to know where the mini helmets. Oh, she wants to know where the mini helmets come from. Have a good morning. Most that I've received, whether it's the ones I've bought myself or the ones that people have sent me, most have come from Amazon. I mean, I can tell when they get here or to the post office because Amazon has its own packing tape that they use, says Amazon on it, or the return address will be Amazon Fulfillment Center. So I think that's where most people are getting them. I'm sure there's plenty of other. I've bought some from Fanatics. Well, one. I bought one from Fanatics.com one time because I couldn't find it on Amazon. But I think most people are finding them on Amazon. And good morning, Mallory. Cincinnati makes nothing but good coaching hires. Yeah, they hired Butch Jones 10 years ago. That's where Butch Jones came from. Before he was at Tennessee, he was at Cincinnati. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm on my own this morning. I got the Lunch Money Show coming up at noon. I got to do a preview video today, too, for the main channel. And, of course, I have the call-in show tonight at 10. So I appreciate all of you tuning in. I hope you can catch the Lunch Money Show at noon. We'll see how me and Pete did betting these games last week. Talk about some of the games coming up this weekend. And we'll figure out if I forget who the guy was that went up against Pete in the Pick'ems contest this week. We'll find out how they did against Pete. But breaking news, though, for the Thursday Lunch Money Show, I lost against, I think, if I remember right, it was Mike Reiser, and he beat me. So I'll have to send Mike Reiser $20 on Thursday. We'll see if, I can't remember who Pete went up against in his pick'em. So we'll see if somebody else won $20 too. We'll find out. But anyway, I do appreciate y'all tuning in this morning. Thanks to all of you who supported the show through the Super Chat and the PayPal. Tiny Tonto, Definition 409, Gators Owned, Celine Driver, Just a Kid from Tennessee, Gators 89, Tiny Tonto, Definition 409. Thank you. And over on the PayPal, Bears, Cubs, Canes, Raylan White, and Michael Reiser. Appreciate you guys hitting that PayPal link and supporting the show. That means a lot to me. It really does. It really does. All right. Y'all enjoy your Tuesday. Hopefully I'll see you at 12 o'clock for the Lunch Money Show. You can look for a preview and prediction video over on the main channel later this afternoon. And, of course, I'll be back at 10 o'clock for the phone call show. I love you guys, and I hope you have a good morning.
That was a fly crawling across my camera.